about by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation, I will read. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Please repeat. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Purport. The system of mysticism described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, beginning with the word Suchau, Deshe, and ending with Yogi, are here being rejected by Arjuna out of a feeling of inability. It is not possible for an ordinary man to leave home and go to a secluded place in the mountains or jungles to practice yoga in this age of Kali. The present age is characterized by the bitter struggle for a life of short duration. People are not serious about self-realization even by simple practical means. And what to speak of this difference, which regulates the mode of living, the manner of sitting, selection of place, and detachment of the mind from material engagements. As a practical man, Arjuna thought it was impossible to follow this system of yoga, even though he was favorably endowed in many ways. He belonged to the royal family and was highly elevated in terms of numerous qualities. He was a great warrior. He had great longevity. He was the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had much better facilities than we do now. Yet he refused to accept this system of yoga. In fact, we do not find any record in history of his practicing it at any time. Therefore, this system must be considered generally impossible in this age of Kali. Of course, it may be possible for some very few rare men, but in general, it is an impossible proposal. If this were so 5,000 years ago, then what of the present day? Those who are imitating this yoga system in different so-called schools and societies, although complacent, are certainly wasting their time. They are completely in ignorance of the desired goal. Ajnanati ज्ञानांजनशलाकचक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्री वासादि गौरव हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Just to revise, we are in the chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. It talks about eightfold yoga system, how to control mind and senses, and focus on concentration on Paramatma, Super Soul. And this chapter is divided into 4 sections. First section, our friend, 1 to 9 hours, we have completed this section. We are in the second section now, the fag end of the second section, in the 33rd verse. So if you look at the words, it is very, very important verse where Lord Sri Krishna told about the mind control and how Ashtanga yoga to be practiced. And Arjuna um, stopped here and asked a question to him. Start speaking to Lord. Yoyam yogas tvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana. So Arjuna is telling that the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical. Um, so whatever system, like from beginning of this chapter, Lord Krishna has briefly summarized, briefly explained about Ashtanga Yoga in chapter 6. Here, he has told a little bit detail about all about and how this eightfold yoga system need to be practiced. So here, Arjuna thinks that it is very difficult at this that age to practice this yoga system, and he also thinks that it is impractical and undurable to him. So it is etasyaham na pashyami chanchilatvat sthitim sthiram. For the mind is the lesson and study. Here we need to note that the word chanchilatvat, chanchala. So it is a restless mind. So we will see that dwell into details on this. And also, like Arjuna is calling Krishna as Madhusudana. So why is that he is calling Krishna as Madhusudana? That is another thing. Let us look at it. So first, chanchalatvat means like agitated mind. So here Arjuna is telling Krishna, my dear Krishna, you have beautifully summarized the process of Ashtanga yoga to me, and I think it is very difficult for me due to my agitated mind. So mind is controlling mind is very difficult. Mind is all the time it is agitated, and this process where it needs mind to be controlled and sit in one place and do the and secluded place and with so many other requirements, I need to do this, and this is very difficult for me due to my agitated mind. Uh, so actually, why is that Arjuna is telling this? Even though he has a well qualified, he's a warrior, very intelligent um, uh, um, a person. So Arjuna is still is telling that is very difficult. So we should remember that this material world, it is material world which is full of anxiety. So every moment our minds are agitated. So it is very difficult for us to keep the mind calm. And as soon as we enter in this material world, this is called kunta. Kunta is nothing but like meaning is anxiety. So it is full of anxiety, and it's not a comfortable situation for any of us. So that's why Arjuna is telling that it is very difficult to practice this Ashtanga yoga, and also especially controlling the mind. So So we are thinking that the situation will save me for anxieties of my mind. See, every moment we are facing a situation where we are trying to find the solution for that particular situation by some material solutions. But the nature of this material world is such that we won't be able to be peaceful. So that's where Arjuna is telling this, saying that he won't be able to control the mind. The mind is agitated by nature, and it is difficult to control. Um, so when we any problem when we try to solve with this in this material world. So at any point of time, we have our mind is agitated, and we are trying to find the solution for that particular problem. That in the future point will be peaceful and the problem will be solved. But here Prabhupada explains that this uh, uh, material world will not allow that to happen. When we get to that next point where we think that this problem will be solved, but there will be another problem, and we won't be able to really the have these without anxiety. At any time will be anxieties. So another thing here is in these words, Arjuna is calling Krishna as Madhusudana. Why is that? He's calling Krishna Madhusudana. So Krishna has many other names, and Krishna is one of the dearest name for him. He could have called Krishna or some other name, but here he called as Madhusudana because he thinks that the problem in the mind, controlling the mind, is as big as killing demon Madhu. So Madhusudana name Krishna got because he killed a demon called Madhu. So Lord has innumerable names, and these names um, are because of his activities or his leelas. So he has done innumerable leelas, so he has innumerable names. But even though Krishna is the chief name, he is called. So for anybody like in Vedic culture, so Namakarana, when it happens, see the horoscope for the kids, and they name the children based on the activities that they do in their life. So that was the even for the public, that was the practice. Nowadays, all the people may not be following it, but that was the practice in the olden days. So that's where, like, whatever names, if we take Krishna's names, like Yashodanandana, he is the son of Yashoda. Nandanandana, so like he is the son of beloved son of Nanda Maharaj. So similarly, like Parthasarathi is because he is a charioteer of Arjuna. So this is the that's why here he is calling Madhusudana, because he is thinking that the controlling the mind is bigger problem than killing the demon Madhu. So so that's why he is calling Madhusudana here. And also another thing is telling the Krishna that you have killed Madhu, is a great demon. So I also the bigger problem than Madhu, to control my mind. So please kill that the mind to make it calm, so that I can practice this yoga. That is the reason that he called Madhu here. So let us see next. The key points for this today's discussion. We'll quickly talk about the purpose of yoga system. So what is the purpose of this? Any yoga system, let it be Ashtang yoga or karma yoga, any of the, what is the purpose of the yoga system? And the second thing is why Ashtanga yoga is impractical and unendurable. This is another thing we'll discuss. Third point is yoga for this day and age. What is the suitable yoga for this day and age? Purpose of any yoga system is to control the mind and drawing away from the attachment to sense objects. So the main problem here in the material world is that mind is always agitated. That is the nature of this material world, and senses are after sense objects, and mind is not under control. and all the time it is agitated. So the yoga system, the purpose of the yoga system is main purpose is control the mind. Away from the sense objects. So this is like if you think that the mind is the driver and body is is the car. So mind is driving. If mind is not under control, it will lead us catastrophe. So it can take us anywhere, and that is not the favorable situation for us. So that is the reason that we need to have the mind under control all the time. Let us say you have a driver and you want to driver to go to some temple, but he takes you to somewhere else in the downtown. So that is not the favorable situation. So that's why it means that our mind is not acting as per our wishes. Um, Mind is acting against us as an enemy. So how to make our mind as a friend? That is also part of the yoga system. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that in the third chapter, so Indriyani Parani ahur indriyobhyah param manaha manastu parabuddhir yo buddhe parastha. So it is said that the working senses are superior to dull matter. You can see that the hierarchy of bodily function. So working senses are superior to dull matter, and mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence still higher than the mind, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. The current situation is, so this is the hierarchy of body function, but working senses here, mind is taking mind is not controlling the senses because mind is not receiving the proper intelligence, and it is not listening the intelligence or the soul, because once mind is now let free because soul is sleeping, and intelligence is not acting upon the mind. So that's where the working senses are um, the, taking the mind wherever it wants. So that's where once the actual the hierarchy is that once you follow the yoga system and you purify the senses and awaken the soul, then the proper hierarchy will be like soul directs the intelligence and intelligence direct the mind, and mind will be calm and work under the under intelligence, and working senses will under the control of mind. So in this situation mind will be our friend, and it won't agitate, and we can that is the suitable um, that is the suitable condition for the any yoga system. So so mind is, when we talk any point of it is restless, and also we are trying to find the problems or solution to the problems, thinking that the mind will be peaceful once we achieve that. But as we talked about, for example, like the student thinks that he is working very hard, and it is very difficult to prepare for the exams, and wanted to and once he completes, he'll get into job, he'll be happy, and the situation will be changed, and he'll be happy, he'll be earning. But when he get there, again the mind is not peaceful. He'll have more problems, and mind is agitated more because he might need to work for the deadlines, or he has to deal with the manager, he has to deal with the peer pressure. It's a lot of other things. So at any point of time, it is difficult for us to find a material solution for this. So in our scriptures, it is said that cause of bondage or liberation in Amrita Upanishad. So mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayaha bandhaya vishayo sango muktai nirvaishyam manaha. So it means that mind, mana is mind. Human beings, mind is the cause for bondage, karanam bandha, and also mind is the cause for the moksha, liberation. Mind is reason for the bondage as well as liberation. Bandhaya vishayo sanga. Bondage, Vishya Sangha is the sense objects. So Muktaya and Nirvasyam Manaha. So mind absorbed in sense objects is a cause of bondage. So similarly, mind with detached from sense objects causes liberation. So here, sense objects, we all know that. So eyes want beautiful picture, ears want to hear the nice music kind of thing. I know our tongue want to taste palatable things. So sense objects are like, if you are a jaundice patient, let us say you should not eat some sweets, but if you are eating that, so that is not in a favorable situation, but because your mind is want to eat, and it is absorbed in sense object, that seeing that rasgulla or the sweet that it want to have. So then it is not a favorable. It is a bondage. It will create some problem. So similarly, if you can mind, you control that, then that is a liberation. So that's where mind can be a friend or an enemy. So purpose of yoga system in this particular age, Prabhupada says that those who are imitating this yoga system in different so-called schools and societies, although complacent, are certainly wasting their time. They're completely in ignorance of desired goal. We all know that nowadays, all of the yoga studios are mushroom. Every corner you find a yoga studio. But the kind of yoga that they're teaching there, if you look at the Ashtang yoga, is a eightfold yoga system. But usually they teach there the step 3 and 4, the asanas, and pranayama. So the Ashtanga yoga starts with yama, niyama, and this the process we followed in that ashram teaching without yama is that where they have to follow certain conditions, do's, and niyama is where what do's and don'ts. So, but without you observe them directly, they're going to asanas, which will give a benefit, but no, which is very insignificant. So they get some maybe no, for weight reduction, or no, for flexibility of body, they can go. Also some breathing exercises for the some breathing problems. It can help, but that is not the authentic system. And they're also like they're not even observing that what exactly it is told by Patanjali Maharshi. Krishna told here very briefly, but Patanjali Rishi has elaborated that in the Patanjali Sutras. So here it became very big business now. Like it is $billions of business where there are so many things around this they're selling for yoga. So if we, there was a article where it says that there one in every 6 Americans are following some kind of yoga. So it is that popular, and yeah. But which is not authentic, and which won't. The main aim of the yoga is to control the mind. Here, that is not the that currently it is being followed. Sorry, just I'm changing the internet connection. Sorry, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Now it's all good, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So just now we are in this why Ashtanga yoga is impractical and unendurable. So so Krishna explains about Ashtanga yoga from words 11 to 32, and summarize how to mind need to be controlled. So let us see that. So Krishna defines who is yogi. So yogi is someone who is unattached to results of his work, and also one perform one performs the his duties as an obligation without expecting any sense, um, without expecting the um, fruitive any fruitive activities or fruitive results. So that is another thing, and one must give up desire for sense enjoyment in order to become a yogi. So that is the third one Krishna talks. Then if you look at next step Krishna talks about is what is the important of mind control. So mind control is as we talked about for any yoga system, mind control is very important. It is a central focus point. So Srila Prabhupada explains that only Ashtang yoga system requires mind control. It is not like that, but Prabhupada says that any yoga system it is important. Um, so and also it is not possible to practice yoga system without mind control. It is very critical. Um, and also to become a yogi, one should control the mind and train the mind that not attached to sense enjoyment. Sense enjoyment is another obstacle for mind control. Um, then one might ask, like, why should one should control that isn't in Ashtanga Yoga. So Ashtanga Yoga practice that leads to Samadhi, that the eightfold the yoga system. So eighth step is the Samadhi. There is the spiritual happiness which is unlimited compared to the sensual happiness. So it is described as boundless or transcendental joy. So before that, is important for a sadhaka or yogi to control the mind so that he can get to that stage where he can joy. So compared to that samadhi, the kind of happiness that no joy that yogi gets, sense pleasures are very meager. Compared to that, very limited, very limited compared to the spiritual happiness. So and also like who were attached to the sense enjoyment, they're implicated. So whatever we do with the senses, we are and we are implicated. So either positively or negatively based on the kind of activity that we are doing. So next step is like Krishna explains about phases of advanced in mind control, different stages of mind control. So Krishna explains about not to go by the mind, not to work by dictation of the mind. That is one of the thing which shows the advancement of the mind, the yogi. Um, so if you look at ordinary man in this world, if simply driven by the mind, work by the direction of the mind. So here, whoever aspiring to be yogi should desist that. You should not follow the dictation of the mind. And most preliminary step in mind control is when the mind is not agitated by the attraction of the sense enjoyment, it is being of mind control. Uh, once you're not following the dictation of the mind and following these regulations, then mind becomes calm. Such a person will not get disturbed by the dualities. What are the dualities? Dualities in this world is like happiness, distress is a duality, and heat and cold, honor, dishonor. So when our senses say that, so we want to be happy all the time. Distress is there, distress comes. So, but yogi will be undisturbed for these dualities. Similarly, heat and cold. So whenever it's very cold now, so our senses want some warmth. So similarly, when the heat in the summer, you want to be in air condition. So, and also we like honor. So we won't like dishonor. These are all the dualities. But yogi who is controlled his mind is undisturbed by these dualities. Next, Krishna talks about his goal of mind control. What is the goal of controlling the mind? Satisfied with the knowledge and realization, and he is completely self-controlled, unaffected by material possessions and material relationships. This is the next stage of a mind control. Yogi completely satisfied with the knowledge and realization. So knowledge is that acquired from scriptures, from discourse, from different sources. But realization is something that is the applied knowledge, and act on the platform of that knowledge is realization. So that is the realized knowledge. So yogi is satisfied with the knowledge and realization. Such person will be self-controlled. Self-controlled. He sees now everything like no stones, pebbles, or gold. It is equal for him. So he is not distinguished with them. Similarly, he also won't differentiate people, whoever it may be, friend, enemy, or no. So he won't distinguish people. Also, he is equal in mind. So so he'll be indifferent for the honest, well-wishers, affectionate people, any kind of even relatives, enemies, pious people, or sin people. He doesn't differentiate because he won't deal with the at the physical level. So he knows that he is the spiritual being, and Lord is sitting in his heart as Paramatma. So he won't deal on the physical platform. So so next one is Lord explains how one should perform Ashtanga yoga. Go to secluded place, as we talked about, and also prepare an asana where one has to put a tussa grass on top of a deer skin and a soft cloth. It should not be too high or too low. So many conditions are there, so he has to meet all that condition, and one should be complete celibate in Ashtanga yoga. And so so in this state of mind, one should meditate on the Krishna and the heart as Paramatma. So that is recommended here. So once now he attains that stage, so once he is once he attains that stage, he finishes this material existence and transforms himself to the kingdom of God. That is the process here. And next ultimate goal for this eightfold yoga samadhi. Mind is completely restrained, and perfection of such meditation by doing this is no longer disturbed by body, mind, intelligence, and he'll get the boundless transcendental happiness and joy. So such person is no longer disturbed by the body, mind, and intelligence. So so it is a spiritual happiness that such yogi get. Such happiness is realized by transvisual senses. So when we talk about the senses, we only know about the external senses like the eye, or hand, or whatever, the skin. So here Krishna talk about spiritual senses, where this eye is just an instrument, but behind that there is a spiritual sense, spiritual eye through which we see outer world. It is not just because our eyeball or no eye is just an instrument. It's like it's like a hardware, but actually that instrument is connected, and he'll be able to see only through or perceive only through the spiritual eye. Similarly, other senses as well. So then, and next thing is that Arjuna is telling that it is impractical. We can't. He won't be able to do. And he was in Treta Yuga. So now we are in the Kali Yuga. It is like Kali Yuga. There are so many drawbacks. So it is said that Prayenalpaishu Sabbe Kalau Asmin Uge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyahi Upadrutaha. So it is said that this age of quarrel, it is very it is very difficult to follow any rules and regulations because people are short-lived, and people are short-lived, and also like always either quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Mind is always disturbed. It is very difficult in this age to find a secluded place and sit, as described, and completely abstain from many things like controlling food, controlling, and should be celibate. So all these things not possible nowadays. So Kali Yuga, it is not at all possible. So that is the characteristics of Kali Yuga, is as we talked about. So Prabhupada says that as a practical man, Arjuna has told Krishna, saying that it is impossible for him to control the mind and practice the Ashtang Yoga. So so he was very highly elevated and with many qualities. He himself was telling that 5,000 years ago, he has more facilities than us today, and he is next to Lord Krishna himself. Still, he thinks that he won't be. It is not possible to perform this. So then, what is the for this age of Kali? What is the process to to control the mind and to achieve the state, samadhi state? So what is the yoga that is in Kali Yuga? Strict rules and regulations following it's very difficult, as we talked about. So so people are it is very difficult for people who are in growth to go away from the family, and also like people are not used to living used to living in jungles and those are harsh conditions. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us a very, very simple process, that is bhakti. But bhakti process, bhakti method is recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to purify our senses. We need not follow all that full process, which is very troublesome, very difficult to. That Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchiti. This is the definition for bhakti. So bhakti is a devotion service, means engaging all our senses in service of the Lord and Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and once senses are purified um, by being employed in the service of the Lord. Simply by employing in the service of the Lord. So that is the process done by Prabhupada, and Krishna consciousness movement follow this process for this age. And also, it is also said that in our scriptures. So Ambarish Maharaja, how he was controlling his, what were his activities and how he was performing this. It is said in Bhagavatam 9:4-18, Savai Manah Krishna Padaravindayo. So Ambarish Maharaj always engaged in his mind in meditating upon lotus feet of Krishna. His words is describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleaning the Lord's temple, and his ears is in hearing the words spoken by Krishna and about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of the Krishna's temple, a place like Mathura and Vrindavana. He engaged his senses of touch in touching the bodies of the large devotees. He engaged his senses of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulasi offered to the Lord. And he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy place, to temples of the Lord. His head is bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarisha never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase the attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. The same result as Ashtang Yoga we can get by simply engaging in devotional service and following the regulative principles laid down by our acharyas. Srila Prabhupada has given us the process for to do that. And what is the best for the turbulent Ashtang mind that that Arjuna is talking about here? In Kali Yuga, engaging in devotional service is the best yoga process, and that can be done by hearing the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord, the Shravanam. There is 9 stages of devotional service. Even by following one process, one can be able to advance and control the mind. So, and also one can have a proper diet, accepting foodstuff offered to prasadam, and chant Mahamantra and following regulative principles. So mantra means like man is the mind, pra is which can deliver. So mantra, which we do 16 rounds by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the process in this age of Kali. Also, by doing the control the mind. So we need not go away from the families. Need not go to the secluded place where and sit in the postures, back, neck, and head in the straight line, and seeing the tip of the nose for a long period of time. We need not do all those things. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very merciful. He has given us this process to make advancement further in the spiritual life. So we need to attend Mangalarati every day. So must hear or read Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita every day. So Prabhu has explained in last couple of sessions on this, and it is very important for us to introspect, repent, and correct. So it's important activity to advance in spiritual life. So with this, I will close this. I will take any questions or any comments or corrections that may have. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Do you have any questions, any comments? Yes. 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 Right. Yes. Yes. So, so the process is uh, like the Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is given. So we need to chant Mahamantra and follow the regulative principles. Um, apart from that, we should read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and also start having only Krishna Prasadam. These are the processes to cleanse ourselves, cleanse the heart. By following this process, automatically our mind comes under control. The senses no longer will be uh, 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 the demands of the senses will come down, and mind will come to a stage where it has complete control under of the senses, and mind works on the perfect direction from the intelligence, and intelligence, the soul will give the direction to intelligence. So that way the mind is calm, and once you are purified, we know that who we are and what is our relationship with the Lord, and so we engage in the devotional service by following that process. Once, as and when we get our senses, mind, our when the we be purified, then we'll be able to understand our position, and which is nothing but like we are in the samadhi state all the time. Then you won't be bothered about what's happening in this material world. It means that um, whether it is a duality, you are not bothered about the duality, whether, and you are not expecting. You know that you are dealing with the external, the bodies are material in this material world, but you see that one who realizes that see everybody equal. So whether it is as in Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna said, in the you see the Pandita who sees the cow, the dog eater, elephant, everything same. that stage, that is nothing but it is the stage of samadhi. So he is non-different. He's not differentiating. He is seeing the Lord everywhere, and he is completely in peace. So that is the, and how much time it takes, it all depends on the sadhaka who are practicing this process. Shraddha is the first thing that is required. So based on Shraddha, one has the progress in the spiritual advancement depends on mainly on Shraddha. Yes, Adho Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. So starting point is Shraddha. The Sadhu Sangha is very, very important, like associating with the devotees who are, then we will be in all the time under the shelter of the Lord. Otherwise, this is the Maya is very strong. If you are not associating with them, maybe we will slip away, fall down. So that's where it is very important. And Bhajana Kriya. So these are the process that to be followed. Yes, bro. Okay. The question that Prabhu is asking is how the chanting of Hare Krishna cleanse the mind. So chanting of, as I said, right, mantra is man is mind, tra is that can deliver. It has that potency. The chanting of Hare Krishna is non-different from the Lord himself. When we Lord is pure and his name is pure. When we repeat this name, nama japa, when we do, then the dirt in our heart started cleansing, and we see that our position. Who are we currently? We think we are this body. It is difficult to understand that no, I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul. I'm nothing to do with this. It is accumulated. It is a panchabhutas and gas body, three subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So it is very difficult. We can tell that, but to understand that this is the process by chanting regularly 16 rounds. So you start understanding. We have accumulated this dirt for many births. So once we start this process, that dirt is like mirror. On the mirror, dust is accumulated. By daily cleaning the mirror, we can see ourselves who we are. Otherwise, we won't be knowing. So by doing this process of chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds offenselessly, then we will progress. We'll understand who we are. Our heart is cleansed, and then we will be able to progress and advance in the spiritual journey. Any other questions anybody has online? Otherwise, we'll close. So could you please, all of you, come on in front of the computer, in front of the camera. So let us chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Chandrashri Bhagavad Gita ki,
Jai,
Sai Gauranga ki,
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.